pick five on tap. Saturday, late pick five starts in the fifth race. We got one what do we got? Three stakes in the sequence, plus a second level allowance, plus a maiden claimer to close it out. And we decided here to focus a little more on a couple key horses, two for you, two for me, rather than just the ticket, although the ticket will show you, of course. But let's dive right in with the politely, which is the first leg of the sequence. Race five, $75,000 Maryland restricted stake, going three quarters for fillies and mares three and up. And this is where one of your key horses kicks things off with Bourbon Bombay.
Well, this is a great week to kind of highlight this new format because I found two singles, and I think the other three races in this sequence are very wide open. So I've taken the liberty of using what I think is pretty much every logical horse in those other three races. That way, I really only have to be right twice in order to win. The first horse I'm trying to be right with is number 7, Bourbon Bombay. This is a mare who's been around for a long time. She made her debut 3 years ago, but it's only her ninth career start. She's raced twice this year, both of those very solid efforts, including last time out in the Willa on the Move, where she came from well off the early pace. Horse who won that race, Ms. Bouchot. In fact, we'll see her in Stakes Company at Laurel Park this weekend. She got the jump on Bourbon Bombay, had a clear lead at the top of the stretch. However, Bourbon Bombay made up good late ground that day, only lost by a length. We had a very solid speed figure, improved to an 87 on the Prisnet scale, second off a year plus layoff. She has very good tactical speed. She hasn't been as close to the pace as I might have liked to see in her two starts this year. She has been rounding into form since coming back off the layoff. She'll get a nice trip sitting in second or third just off the pace. Yormo Torres, who has ridden her in 7 of her 8 starts this year, comes in for the mount. And it's not an especially strong field, I don't think. The only horse who I'm a little bit scared of is Sheila's Word Cloud, who had burned up a lot of money trying to chase in her last few races. So I think Bourbon Bombay's improving form and tactical speed will help her win the day.
Yeah, I mean, it is an interesting race, John. I tend to agree with you. It's not the greatest group ever assembled here. But one of the things that makes it interesting is at this distance, the 6 furlong distance, there's a lot of question marks here. I mean, Sheila's War Cloud, for example, has run pretty good races. As you say, she's burned up some of your money and some of mine as well. But the way she's been running recently, she's been well back going farther. Where is she going to be going three quarters? This horse was kind of, a little bit farther back last time out going 6.5, Bourbon Bombay. I mean, a bunch of these are not really proven going 6 furlongs. They seem to want to go farther. I think Talk to the Judge goes to the lead, but I don't think she's good enough to go all the way. I mean, I got questions about everybody here.
Yeah, I was thinking about that also. This is really more of a 7 furlong group. As you said, Sheila's War Cloud has done her best running going 7 furlongs or longer. Talk to the Judge does have that early speed, but really almost never lasts. In her last 3 starts, she's set the pace and ended up well being, especially in her last 2 starts. She was up the track. Spenceria, number 5, is also in solid form, but she has most of her best running going 7 furlongs. While Bourbon Bombay is unproven at 6 furlongs, she has done very well going 6.5, including last time out, and at her home base of Parks, she's a stakes winner going 6.5 furlongs. So I don't think in her case, half a furlong is going to really make or break her chances.
Yeah. No, I think she's a must use here. So that's the fifth race. John's going with the 7. I'm going 4, 5, 7. On to the 6. 6 is a second level allowance going a mile. And this one is wide open, John. You're using 4. I'm using 4. 2 of them overlap. 2 of them don't. So we've got 6 different horses covered out of 11 in the field. I don't know. It's kind of all up in the air, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's 4, technically 5, as I am using both halves of the Jamie Ness coupled entry. If both of them go, I'll have a little bit of extra coverage. As you said, it is a very wide open field. I'm just trying to look for whoever's in the best form right now, or at least who has the highest ceiling.
All right, on to the seventh, the carousel. And this one, we're in different places, and I am going with this is one of my two horses that I'm focusing on. I'm going with the eight here. Call another play. Going to single on this one. And this horse is going to either blow up the tote board or you're going to be saying, Frank, what were you thinking there? And let's take a look at this horse. This is a filly. She's a 3-year-old filly. She has no need to be in this race. She's already a stakes winner. She's great at stakes place. There's no sort of glory that attaches to winning this race. This does nothing for her broodmare value or the value of her offspring. So the only reason she's here is, I think, if her connections believe she's doing really well and she wants this mile and an eighth distance. She's kind of entering in not great form her last couple starts, so they must be liking what they see in the mornings. So if she's doing her very best, is she good enough? Well, she's pretty close to good enough, and she might be good enough. My theory here is you go back and you look in the spring, the early summer, how she was running. She runs third in the Black Eyed Susan, the Grade 2 Black Eyed Susan, the Gun Song. Gun Song turns around and nearly beats Torpedo Anna in the Cotillion. Then she runs fourth, beat 2 lengths by Power Squeeze in the Delaware Oaks. Power Squeeze comes back and wins a grade 1 at Saratoga. Nobody else is running against those kinds of horses here. I feel like if she can find that kind of form again and maybe get another length or two, she's right there with these and probably at a number. That's my theory.
I mean, she has had excuses in her last two starts. To your point, she does have a really high ceiling, as she showed earlier in the year. I ended up going six deep in this race. I think it's extremely wide open. I cannot fault you at all, though, for taking a swing with a horse like her. She'll go off at a decent number, and if you single her and she wins, that'll knock out a lot of pick five tickets and juice you'll pay off quite a bit.
Yeah, and that's the theory. And I think what you said is exactly right, John, which is it's kind of like there are a bunch of horses that could win this race. A lot of these horses look pretty similar to each other. Um, so you're either spreading wide here or you're going to kind of narrow cast and hope that you landed on the right one. That's the angle I chose. Let's head on to the Manfuso. This is a mile and a 16th, older boys, 2 turns here at Laurel. And this is another spotlight horse for you. I'm interested to hear you talk about this one. That's Speediness, another Jamie Ness runner.
Well, I know a lot of folks talk about Mindframe as the Maryland bred foil to watch going in a 2025. However, Speediness is in my book a clear cut number two in the Maryland bred foil to be hierarchy. He ran absolutely lights out last time out in the city of Laurel Stakes last time out. On this very show, I predicted that he would break well from the outside post, go to the front and go gate to wire. He did break well and made the front. However, he got collared by Celtic Contender to his inside, and those two ended up in a very tough speed duel. Opening quarter, 22 and 2/5. The half was 44 and 4/5. You almost never see horses go that fast for a half mile at Laurel. Yes, the track was playing a bit faster than normal that day, but even so, those are blazing fast fractions, and he never wilted and inch. He battled with Celtic Contender the entire way. Winterfell got a beautiful trip off that fast pace. Ended up swallowing up both Speediness and Celtic Contender, but Speediness only lost by Celtic Contender by a nose, and he was in the two path that whole way, while Celtic Contender was down to the inside and therefore able to save a little more ground. Two starts back and his first start off a 6-month layoff. Speediness beat older horses in gate to wire style. Ran big races on the lead, going 2 turns in both the private terms and the Federico Tessio earlier this year. He should run his peak effort third off the layoff. And I think he's a good single because I think a lot of tickets are going to use either him or number 5, Copper Tax, coming off a win in the Richard Small last time out. And I figure a lot of tickets might single Copper Tax. As such, if I can beat Copper Tax and get by with speediness, that will knock out a lot of tickets.
I think that's right. This race looks to me like either speediness, the speed of the speed, or copper tax. My question to you is, are you concerned at all? It looks to me like there is at least some other speed here. Are you concerned about that?
Not particularly. I know Film Star is drawn to that one's inside coming off and up the track effort in the 49er. Did win the lure at Saratoga over the summer, albeit in an off the grass effort. I don't think Speedy Ness's pace figures are quite a bit faster than those of Film Star. Yes, he did get collared by Celtic contender last time out. However, going into that race, Celtic contenders early pace figures wasn't quite as big a gap between his and Speedy Ness's as there is between Speedy Ness's and Film Star. Got to figure also this time Jamie uh, Rodriguez knows what to do because last time he wasn't quite as aggressive as he could have been, I think, with speediness in getting to the front. He seemed not unhappy with being in the two path. Hopefully he's learned his lesson and guns him straight to the rail and the lead. And if he gets his trip, if he gets a half mile and even 47 and change, I think it'll be tough to catch.
Yeah, that would make life a lot easier than going 44 and something like you did the last time.
Yes.
So, all right, speediness is your spotlight horse in the eighth race, the Manfuso. I go 4-5 in here, just covering the two obvious choices. Heading to the final leg of this pick five. It's the ninth race, maiden 20s, 2-year-old fillies going 6 furlongs. And John, this is not what you'd call a great group of horses. It does not appear to be. And so I took I'm going to use three in here, but kind of my focus here is on the 5-horse fair trade for Robbie Bales here. This one, her siblings are 2 for 3 first time out of the box. Opportunity about a 10% sire with first timers. Bales, the trainers, about 14% with 2-year-old firsters. So it's a barn that can win first out. This one's been working okay. She doesn't have to be a world beater to win in this spot. And I like the two winning siblings. It just seems to me worth a shot against, again, I'm using the 2 and 4 who are sort of the obvious horses who have already run. Seems to me I don't want to just land on the horses that have already run because they don't appear to be all that good.
No, I mean, and as you said, no one has to be a world beater to win this race. I mean, there's a reason why they're only worth about $20,000 and change. I do like that win early pedigree on fair trade. All three of her siblings to race to date have won at two. As you said, two of them won at first asking. Really, really on the Brisnet scale. All she has to do is run up in the low to mid 60s to contend, which is certainly possible. I didn't include her in my ticket. However, I could be talked into throwing her in if I got to make a last minute adjustment.
You did use another firster though, right? You used the 7-horse Estacada.
Yes, she's been in, um, had some decent workouts. I mean, Antonio Machado is very solid with first time starters, hits at about a 15% clip. Jamie Rodriguez gets the call on this one. This one has been working out pretty consistently since early November. Got on the tab back in mid June at Pimlico. Something ended up being a miss. However, she's turned in a bunch of very solid 3 furlong workouts, amped it up to a 4 furlong drill for her most recent workout, went in a very solid 50 seconds. I'll watch the board a little bit on her, and if I see her getting good action in double probables or in the win pool, I know I'll be in pretty good shape.
All right. So I'm going with three here. John's going with four, right? But
Yeah, 2, 4, 6, 7, and I could be talked in, and I could
into
be
the
talked
five.
into throwing in your five.
So my ticket's gonna be $36. Yours gonna be $48. Your two keys are Bourbon Bond Bay and who was the other one? Help me here. Speedy.
Speediness.
There you go. And mine
Go
are
speediness, go.
Fair Trade in the last and call another play to blow up the tote board in the seventh. John. Good luck and a Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to you.
Same to you, Frank.